that's extraordinary. Hey, what's up?
Get down!
Oh, that's not it.
Oh yeah!
Okay. How we doing? Hopefully everyone's having a great weekend. This is my my commitment to talking more about the anime content. How you guys doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I don't really have much of a script. I just took down notes, but I think this is gonna be my first episode version of this. And if it gets, I know the whole adage about putting effort into things that you want to see accomplished. So if you want to see better results, you got to put in more effort. But if it counts for anything, not for nothing, right? You got to start somewhere. So I want to use this as like the standing point for the ideas that I'll make. And, you know, if it gains the appropriate traction and it's supposed to, or I feel like the effort is warranted for it, we'll continue to improve on it. Regardless, right? We'll continue to improve on it. But I did want to like kind of set up the premise for it. There's not really anything in particular, but I did want to talk about one topic. So I read the manga for JJK, and I got like everything I wanted from that. I felt like, and I did a story a while back on how I felt it ended and the things that I thought it was missing. For me, I felt like the ending was rushed, and obviously I felt that way, but it's not my artwork. It's Gege Akutami's, and he's the one that's going to ultimately dictate when the work is done, right? And when he feels his artwork has reached his pinnacle. And I'm not saying that he didn't feel that way, but he chose to make Modulo, right? And that is Jujutsu Kaisen's follow-up story, I think like 100 years in the future, and is basically the kids of Maki and I almost wanted to say Toji, but it's Yuta, and how they're going, and basically aliens are involved. And it piqued my interest this week because this was the week that what's his face came back. Shit, I can't see that comment. Sorry. Whoever that is on YouTube, hold on. Whoever that is on YouTube, can you repeat yourself? Sorry, I missed your comment. My bad. I wasn't paying attention. Gotcha. All right. I'll be paying attention now. Sorry, I missed your comment. But basically, Yuji's back, and in the whole entire show, I really enjoyed Jujutsu Kaisen for two reasons. One, it does something that Hunter x Hunter does that I really enjoyed, which is the main character isn't the only character of interest. So I got to really enjoy that aspect of it. Gojo's great, but Yuji's always been my favorite character in the show. Next to Toto, right? Like I think Toto and Yuji. Toto's probably my favorite because I feel like I could be a Toto. But Yuji's clearly like he's super interesting. He's an emotionally binding character. He's the protagonist that has a level of depth that I can really appreciate in shonen because it's he's like Yuji and Midoriya are are what Gohan wish he could be as far as character development is concerned. The archetype was originally created by Alphonse Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, which is the dual protagonist or the sidekick character who has the emotional depth that has the power, like has a power or something that is hindering them. And for Alphonse, it was, he lost his body, so you constantly feel bad for him, but he's literally walking around in a suit of armor, which then has like a triple entendre because not only does he not have a body to protect, he's in a suit of armor that is the most that you use to protect said body, but then also inside of that suit of armor, which it is being used to protect, is a blood seal that, if broken or washed away, will send his soul spiraling in the ether, right? And I think they probably retconned that in some versions, but I remember there was like an episode I remember distinctly where he was terrified to get his suit of armor wet. But with that being said, and if you're trying to figure out, like, maybe that'll be my first deep dive of the character that Gohan should have been. But I believe that Gohan wanted to be have an emotional depth to him in caricature in Dragon Ball Z, but that was impossible to do because that wasn't just an archetype you could use in Dragon Ball Z. Like, it was designed to be an action anime, and I think Akira Toriyama very much so wanted to introduce a character who could have more depth. And at the time, his level of storytelling just wasn't at that level. It just wasn't. So we get this version, and I'm okay with this, right? Splendid, in fact. Is this the right one? Yeah, damn, that's super light. And the reason why I'm okay with this is because I got to see different versions and iterations of this character. So the next version of this would have been My Hero Academia, and so many people give Deku so much trash for him being super emotional, and I get it. It's done almost to a comedic effect, but I think that's a part of me that like really revels in his caricature, because Gohan, whether we believe it or not, made it okay to cry in anime for males to cry in anime, whether we want to admit that or not, because the tears from him going Super Saiyan 2, that was something that I feel like everybody could relate to. You're not is crying because most of us come from a generation where you were bullied for crying. In this situation, these weren't tears of like pain. It's like it's sorrow. It's like I feel bad for you. Like I didn't want you to see. I didn't want this to happen. But since you brought it out of me, like I'm terribly sorry for what's about to happen. It was remorseful. And these characters, Deku, early Teen Gohan, Yuji, these are characters that all carry the burden of fulfilling promises, right? And in Jujutsu Kaisen, there's a such thing as curses are just the amalgamation of people's ill will and negative energy manifested in spirits. But I believe there's another type of curse, and it's the worst type of curse because it's a curse that can affect everybody, and it's a living curse. And we've never seen an example of a living curse, But every living human being, and this is why the cycle won't stop. Every living human being in Jujutsu Kaisen can manifest a curse, but not too many of them can execute or perform curses on other curses. So like this might be a deep concept, or like it might be getting lost on you. So just put this into perspective. In Jujutsu Kaisen, curses affect people and other curses. But the only people who would be deemed even remotely able to affect curses are sorcerers. And sorcerers have one sole purpose, which is to I want to say exonerate, but that's not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm thinking of here? Exterminate is the meaning of it. Exercise curses. But that is a skill-based technique, and their process of them exercising said curse doesn't begot another curse. But I am a firm believer that human beings in Jujutsu Kaisen is an unknown effect, which is human beings have the ability to cast curses on curses. But there's only ever been 2 people in Jujutsu Kaisen who could do it. And who are these 2 people? Well, it's obviously the first person that comes to mind is Gojo. Satoru Gojo is the best at everything in Jujutsu Kaisen, except casting curses on humans. He's horrible at that. And because he casted a curse on a human, he died for that. Everyone who casts a curse on a human being, that's the catch. If you cast a curse on a human being, you die in Jujutsu Kaisen. And you're probably saying, Hiro, what are you talking about? Gojo never casted a curse on Yuji. And the question is, what is a curse? What is casting a living curse in Jujutsu Kaisen? And I believe we got the first scene in the episode when Yuji's grandfather is dying. And he says, don't die alone. Die surrounded by your friends. Now, given the fact, or by your loved ones, given the fact that we know how Yuji's grandfather, now in retrospect, was innately aware of how Yuji was brought to this world and the troubling circumstances that it entailed, for him to make such a request of Yuji is a curse. It's a living curse. It's a living curse. And he died for it moments after. He died for it moments after. You're like, okay, cool, no problem. Nanami put the onus on Yuji to finish his job. He died for that too. Gojo, before his battle with Sukuna, told Yuji his dream, which was actually a curse. And his dream was to not be alone anymore, so he wanted to make strong students, so he wouldn't feel alone. Students who could survive in this world of Jujutsu Kaisen. And that curse went on to Yuji. Now, here's the good news. Yuji's actual ability is to be able to absorb curses, because Yuji is actually a vessel. So this what's good for the head can also wag the tail. He could also hold evil curses, therefore he can also hold good curses as well. And the only way that Yuji has, the secret behind it is, Yuji has found a way to survive in this world is by absorbing the living curses of people who died that he loved, so that they don't turn into actual curses. Because as he sees it, right, that one curse that they set on him, he's the only one that will suffer the consequences for it. But he has an immortal body, so he can withstand it. He can take it. He can handle it. Right. So with this now in tow, what happens and what goes into here? How does this work? How does this move forward? Right. So the king of curses, he curses people. That's what the guy. Yuji curses. Examples of how Yuji curses. How would you show this? I think the easiest version of this is to show Maito, right? How Maito What's up? What's up, Romo? We're doing the anime talk. We're doing the anime talk. So Maito would be the first example of this. And thanks for the sub. Appreciate that. Maito would be the perfect example of this. Maito was the self-embodiment curse of, like, I almost like to think of Maito as like envy. Like, he can change and use anybody's body in a world where people don't want to be in their own body. It almost seems like, right? So we have Maito as this iteration. But the thing that I think, I found fascinating is in the moment that Maito had to come to terms with what was about to happen to him, what was the thing that brought him to term? It was after he couldn't emulate or copy anyone else. When he had to live with the consequences of being him and seeing his true self. That's really what got him spook. Finding out that Yuji Itadori was making him see himself. And he showed himself. He was vulnerable, right? I think the word that I used was he was truly exposed in that moment. And there was nothing he could do or say that would have brought mercy upon him. Because Yuji he came to terms with, he was like, oh, I just got to kill you. Like, no matter how this happens, like, I'm just gonna keep coming after you, and if you die, I'll come. When you die, I'll come after that person too. So then, upon that expression of realizing that, oh, I'm never gonna see the end of this loop. I'm never gonna see the end of this dance. Maito experienced fear. Maybe for the first time. I don't think he ever has. And upon experiencing that, he was like, oh, I got to get up out of here. And for the first time ever, he then was used by someone else. Which is when we see Kinjaku, a.k.a. Ghetto Body Swapper, take over and use Uzumaki. So now, that's Maito, right? Being used, being a curse. Who is the second person that was cursed by Yuji? The living curse that can only curse human beings. I mean, curse other curses. And it has to be the king of all curses. Sukuna. Sukuna was cursed by Yuji. Because Sukuna was given something that no curse has ever been given. A second chance. Mercy. He was given a second chance. He was given mercy. And whether Sukuna wants to admit it or not, that's not a good look for him. Being shown mercy by Itadori. Because you gotta remember, throughout the whole entire series, He's been insulting Yuji, informing Yuji that I'm going to kill everybody and anybody you know and love. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And it's gonna be me. So for him to be shown mercy by Yuji has to do something to him. It has to, right? What do you mean you're showing me mercy? Once I get out of this domain expansion, that's essentially what. If everyone's asking what's Yuji's domain expansion, Yuji's domain expansion is simply to give people a second chance before he kills you. Before his second chance, whether you want to believe it or not, is talk no jutsu. Look, bro. And the good thing about it, no one ever does. No curse will ever willingly take it because it's a shonen. And Jujutsu Kaisen is the epitome of putting shonen tropes on his head. What do I mean? Well, we know that one of their favorite tropes in anime is telling people what your power or special ability does. And the reason why you got to do that is because the audience, you need to explain it to the audience. But in a TV show, or in the context of what the show is doing, what reason would you have for telling an opponent how your skill or how your power works? You wouldn't have a good reason to do it. But in this show, well, if you as a character explain how your power works to your enemy, it makes the power stronger. It's a buff. So you're almost incentivized to do it, which is smart. It's a creative way of getting through it. But Jujutsu Kaisen is very much so in the mindset of putting that and flipping that on its head, and I like that. So with this new information, is it true? Is Yuji a valid curse? And I think you have to acknowledge that he is a valid curse. Because then you see him in Modulo, and you see a version of Yuji where you're expected to believe this man who can't age, who can't die, and has now watched all his friends die. Right? He's watched all his friends die. And he's sitting here, the strongest person in the verse. And what has he done? He kept his promise to his grandfather. The first one, don't die alone. Well, guess what? Yuji can't die. So mission accomplished. Who made the second curse on him? Gojo. I want my students to be strong enough to survive. Well, guess what? Yuji's the strongest in the verse, and he can't even be approached. Right? And now he's in a situation where he wants to. He showed up recently in the series. All spoilers, of course. He showed up recently in the series, and he stopped a fight and basically used dismantle on an effect, and he's created the biggest explosion we've ever seen in the series. All right, the biggest explosion we've ever seen in the series. So clearly, he's packing a level of power and aggression that we just haven't seen before. And he did it effortlessly. Like they mention, he's the most proficient we've ever seen anybody with this. He wasn't born with these skills. These are skills that he has picked up along the way, right? These are skills he's picked up along the way. So now with this information, right, we're like, oh, damn, okay. So Yuji's badass. But what do we see him do? He immediately attacks humans and the aliens. So he's not discriminating. And he's almost lackadaisical. And like I said, I haven't read Modulo. I don't know if I don't know if I'm ready to be that invested in it. But essentially, he's saying he's relegated himself to Shibuya, or not Shibuya, to Tokyo, to fight all the living curses. I mean, all the curses that remain. And he just stays in suspended fight battles with those curses. We don't know when he sleeps, we don't know when he eats, but we know he's there. And that's all he wants to do. And whenever things get out of hand, he'll come out of that and and do something to the effect of evening the odds and then go back, which is great. Which is great. But I think Yuji is a living curse now because of that. And you're thinking to yourself, well, this is a normal trope. Is there anybody in his series who didn't ask Yuji, who didn't put a curse on Yuji? And I think there's only been one person who hasn't put a curse on Yuji. In fact, I think this one character might be responsible for keeping Yuji from dying. And I think this is a no-brainer. It's Toji. It's not Toji. It's Todo. Todo has always been Yuji's support system, because he doesn't ask Yuji to carry a weight that Yuji can't carry. He makes Yuji keep his promise. He's like, hey man, you're cut from a different breed. You have to keep going, brother. You're cut from a different breed. You're cut from a different cloth. You have to keep going. So Todo, in a part there, and I can hear an argument for like how Todo is probably, he enables Yuji, but for the most part, he keeps him very much grounded. And I like that about him. But I didn't want to go too much into the deep end here. I just wanted to pilot this. I'm very curious to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about my idea that Yuji is a living curse, and really the only reason why he is alive right now is because he absorbs the living curses, and based on the rules of Jujutsu Kaisen, he can't. If he dies, then all of the people who died passing on their will, because the will of the dying wish of someone is a curse. And for the last few dying wishes, if he doesn't accomplish the goal, or he gives them up, or he dies, then all of those people, their will turn into curses. And if they turn into curses, well then they're going to be significantly more magnified, because it's coming from Yuji now. So he either needs to stay alive or figure out a way of handling those curses that have been handed down to him. And I really like that idea. But I'm interested to know what you guys think. Leave it in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Like I said, we'll do some more of these, but I wanted to get the first one out. I was really excited to do that. Thanks for watching. What's up, Robo? Static. What's good, baby? Would you recommend Jujutsu Kaisen? Yeah, if you're into action anime, shonen anime, I think is worth the watch. Actually, I wasn't even looking up, so like I just didn't see it because I was drawing. But I appreciate you understanding. I appreciate you understanding. What you up to this weekend? I just got back in. I just got in tonight. I just got in, so I said, I gotta put my hour on the clock. My Hero. Yeah, I finished My Hero already, but I also finished it with the manga. But I haven't finished watching it. The last thing I watched was, I think, Bakugo's final fight. No spoilers, obviously. But yeah, I'm super excited to see like watch the finale of that. It's definitely on my things to do list. There's a bunch of great animes out right now. And then there's another one that I used to really enjoy as a kid. It's called City, but it was called Shinchan or not Shinchan or something like that. But I'm ready. I'm super excited to like go finish it. I gotta watch the the Chainsaw movie. Gonna hang out with some friends. Nice. Oh man, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to hang out with your boy before hitting the streets. And then can't think of any piece I'd rather place I'd rather be. Oh, come on now. You gonna make me blush. Wait a minute. Where my sound effects go? Oh, there they are. Nah, seriously. I appreciate you. Oh yeah, yeah. Obviously, clearly, Miss Click. There's, you know. Actually, I need more lines. Wondering, it just looked weird. Two, and there we go. Two. And then Sinners got nominated for 16 Grammys. How many are they winning tomorrow night? Over under 8. Yeah, he did get a. I heard he did get a ban. He got a 7-8 ban. Um. Did you see what he did though? I'm curious to know what it was for. I'm willing to guess. Uh, what's up, Ryan? I'm willing to guess it was probably warranted. You know, just because you're speaking about something that you feel passionate about, or right, you got to be able to do it within the rules of the platform that you're on, right? Apparently, at least in his word, the ADL found something he did that was against TOS. Yeah, he's got enemies in high places, so you know the ADL it doesn't have much room to criticize, but they do have enough leverage to criticize. And Twitch is a platform dedicated to money. Yeah, that is against. Yeah, it's one of Twitch. It's against one of Twitch's rules. You can't call someone directly a Zionist. You can make reference to Zionist behaviors or something like that. No, like Twitch has a love hate relationship with Hassan. Um, because Twitch has to be perceived as neutral, regardless of their stance, and to some effect, dare I say, they have to be perceived as leaning more right, conservative. But yeah, he has a target painted on his back. He has a target painted on his back, and I think it's crazy. If I wanted to put on my conspiracy hat, I think it's crazy. Does he stream on YouTube? Because the Epstein files just dropped a new DLC pack, and our beautiful baby boy is nowhere to be seen. Right? New DLC out. We can't even get a review. So I do find it compromising, if anything. But yeah, I know he streams on YouTube, so it'll be good to get his YouTube page up. Yeah, I read about it last night, but I didn't see the exact start date of it, and it might have already been reversed because usually, as a person who's been banned before, and has I'm not saying I have the level of pool that Hassan has, but since becoming a lead, I do have a rep that I can call and ask questions, and and I was once called for potential violation, but okay, yeah. And there's a procedure for these type of things. I just think I want to see a general rule where the ADL is so invested in what a Twitch streamer is doing. I just feel like there's a bunch of way more important things than policing like a Twitch streamer's thing. If only this level of security was during these times of extreme things, right? But I'm sort of the mindset that like, are we mad that they get to say it, or are we mad that no one said anything against it? Are we mad that we just didn't have Democrats? That Democrats didn't pay, like, a bunch of Democrats didn't think it was oh shit, they got people talking for them. Maybe we should pay a bunch of people to talk for us. Are we mad that the Democrats didn't decide to put me on their payroll? Because if you're mad about that, then sure. But don't be mad that they got to say what they got to say. They were paid to say that. You feel me? You feel me? They thought it. They probably would have thought it would have been like a good idea to pay me, until I was like, "Y'all want to run who? Gavin Newsom? His bitch ass? Hell no. Harvey Dent's Cass B. I know the necessary evil that I am. And y'all would have kept me honest. Yeah. Why would he, yeah? But why would he abolish a law enforcement entity? Kamala wouldn't have agreed either. If she wouldn't have agreed either. I mean, she is a cop. Let's just call a spade what a spade is. She was the second top cop. Yeah, they do suck, but for some strange reason, we give them all the power. So at least once a year, we gotta pretend like we fuck with them. But you wanna know who we don't have to fuck with? Nicki Minaj. Don't let nobody tell you we have to support her. But also, don't be one of those ultra liberals and accidentally let your racist mask slip off. Like, you can just not agree with her and keep it pushing. Don't fix your mouth to say anything deranged or derogatory. Now we're talking about protesting with a purpose. Now we're talking. Um, did anybody partake in the protest? I know I'm an essential worker. There's actually someone on my Instagram right now who's like arguing about me saying I didn't go. A lot of protest or a lot of people no call who called in for work. I love when kids get involved with this type of shit too, so they find a way to not have to go to school. Cause I love that for them. For the protest, nice, nice, nice. Mm. Oh yeah. I guess you're right. What is there a major holiday coming up pretty soon? Don't forget. Don't forget to get order those flowers, y'all, for Valentine's Day. I wish I had a coupon code for that. You say you still gonna rock that shit? Hey man, I'm not here to tell people how to feel about X, Y, and Z. All I can do is tell them what I would do. Right? And I'm here to tell you, half the time, I don't think I'm doing the right shit. But this is one time I can live with it. You feel me? Even Cardi B, like, this is my whole thing is people who aren't, and this is gonna sound fucked up to say, but like people who aren't well informed, their opinion just can't matter to me. Like, Nicki Minaj is hugging up and kissing up on a widow who whose husband said I wouldn't let my children listen to Nicki Minaj's music. That's a quote. Shit, he does have jewelry on. No, and I will forgive people for acting shit, like, because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I didn't sing "I Believe I Can Fly" by R. Kelly in grade school. I was in the back row talking about if I can just spread my wings. I can fly. What? Come on now. I hit that shit. Lil Kim's your first love? Yeah, I guess you're right. And when it comes to female rap artists, my favorite female rap artist is gonna be Missy Elliott, without a question. Just she just had bars out of control. And I'm gonna say this. That's who Meg the Stallion is actually archetyped after. Meg the Stallion is just Missy Elliott in more revealing clothing. Because back when Missy Elliott was popular, we didn't have a way of defining what queer meant. Queer wasn't very well defined. Oh, she had health issues? I didn't know that. But shout out to Missy. What arm is that on? Her right arm? Galorp. Missy was diagnosed with Graves' disease? The fuck is Graves' disease? An autoimmune disorder causing hyperthyroidism, where the immune system attacks the thyroid, causing the overproduction of hormones, resulting in symptoms like weight loss, rapid heartbeat, tremors, and heart intolerance, common in women under 40. It is treated with anti-thyroid meds, radioactivity iodine, or surgical, typically with a good prognosis. Complications including thyroid storm, heart failure, and eye disease. Interesting. '90s R&B was peak, but was '90s R&B also the death of R&B? Because we don't have any more R&B. Do we have R&B? Puffy killed R&B. Huh. I think individualism killed R&B. Because R&B was very much so the boy band and the girl. R. Can I think of a woman's R&B song? No, because R&B before. And what do you call Otis Reed and James Brown, Marvin Gaye? What do you would consider them R&B, right? Or do you give them a different genre? I want to say individualism killed R&B. Yeah, we got to answer some questions if we want to answer some questions. You feel me? Rock and roll. Yeah, because rock and roll turned into alternative punk grunge music. Yeah. What's that saying? Good music is copied. Great music is sampled. Oh, he pulled his muffin back blue. Ooh, ooh.
Does she have a best friend?
Wasn't James Brown considered rock and roll at one point? Now people will try and kill you if you call him a rock star. Yeah, his earlier sound was definitely rock and roll, but I feel like his older stuff very much so turned to R&B or like this soulful jazz stuff. But I'd be willing to hear either argument. But also, anyone who's willing to say James Brown isn't rock and roll, you could tell like they're just call him a racist and move on. All right, you're racist. Cool. What's next? This is we know for sure. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, R&B is also another thing. Is because love. I think it's because love has become too commercial. Like, what? What type? Like, I know women were fine back then, but what type of woman made? What was one of the lyrics Otis Reed said? Otis Reed said, "I've been loving you for far too long, and I can't stop now." What? Just pull up some old school R&B songs. Specifically the men. They was saying some off the wall. And Otis, he would fight people. And I can't. And I won't. Yeah, like if I loved a girl so much that I would go out into the rain, would oh yeah, oh yeah. Don't it don't even bother. She had powers. Don't send help. I'm exactly where I want to be. Don't send help. I'm exactly where I want to be. Right? And it's not fair. It's not fair too because I was thinking about like Keith Sweat was the beggiest motherfucker ever, wasn't he though? Because don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I think I think there was a certain craft to it. There was so much more effort. You know, like now I could just swipe left, swipe right. But like there, there's no more investment. That's the thing I'm word I think of. The investment isn't there anymore. It's not. There's no more investment because if you had to put on your best suit, work, you had to work two jobs to afford to go out. When you go out and you run into a butte, you gonna make sure you ready. And if you get her number, oh, you gotta put that to use. You gotta put that to use. We no wasted opportunities over here. But yeah. It was just a different type of energy. It was just a different type of energy. Oh yeah, alternative rock and roll raised me. Blink 182 and Linkin Park raised me. Blink 182, Korn, in order. I think I have Blink 182, Korn, and Linkin Park are the most the most songs I have as far as artists is concerned. And that's called classical alternative now. I tried to listen to the rock station in my city in Chicago is called Q101, and I heard them play Freak on a Leash, which was old when I was young in high school. Freak on a Leash was the first time I heard that song. They said our classic alternative hour is coming to an end. If you have any more requests, send them in now. And I was like, I wanted to call and say, bitch, watch your mouth. And also, can you play Make Me Bad by Korn? Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, every day I have to come home and like just get a little bit more comfortable with it. Like, I was walking through the mall the other day. I got nervous. I saw some high school kids, and I was like, "What the? Why am I getting nervous around high school kids?" And I was like, "Oh, is this what old people experience? And is this why old people don't like young people? Because it just makes them nervous." Shit. What a horrible existence. Yeah, like I felt it for a split second, and then I remembered, oh, I could beat the shit out of these kids. But it did cross my mind. I was like, oh, is this what people feel when they say like these kids they're out of control? Oh, they're not out of control. You're just nervous. They're just a little nervous. And you wouldn't be all nervous if you and really, kids don't show up to other places if they have somewhere to be or have something to do. So every time I think about it, I'm like, as long as you give those kids something to do, you should be fine. You don't have to worry about kids skating on the street if you give them a skate park. In fact, I like this one city council thing that they used to do was summer of building, which was if the kids collectively came together and nominated something, that the city would build it. But they all would have to vote. Yeah, Rand, don't be snatching up nobody kid, man. Because even in today's day and age, you can't discipline certain people's kids. People don't discipline their kids, and guess what? They don't want you disciplining their kid either. They purposely don't discipline their kid. And if you discipline their kid, it's a poor reflection on them. I'm from the class of fuck them kids university, so I totally feel where you're coming from. Well, but also I think like those officers have it out for those kids. Once again, I'm of the mindset that if you don't give kids things to do, they're gonna do bad things. And that's why I liked our city council, because when it came down to it, they voted, oh, we want a skate park. And then the next year, they said, oh, we want a basketball court. And what happened was a bunch of girls figured out that, oh, these boys were getting all the things they wanted. So the next year, they rallied together to get something. And the girls ended up getting a dance studio or a cheer facility or a facility for dance, and it was only for the girls. And I thought that was genius. And I think like every year since, they've now had to split it. So they have to go back and forth because eventually girls just kept on voting. Which is true for our demographic, for real, which is crazy. I think they did one where it was like matinee prices, matinee prices on all children holidays. So on all holidays, the theater would have matinee prices for all kids with student IDs. And then I think like that became too hard, so then they said you have to have good grades. Good grades and you'll get a matinee ticket. You just snuck in? Oh, you was a real one. Oh, I was too much of a goofy two shoe to sneak into the movie. The only thing I could get off of was because of my size. I could get off with the fact that I wasn't a adult. To go see those scary movies and never checked my ID. When did we all stop being afraid of our parents? See, that's the problem with this generation. They not afraid of their parents. I'm terrified of my parents. I was. But then I realized I was a 6-foot giant. It's too hard to do it freehand. Or you bring it down some. Take care, Rand. Thanks for coming by, checking on your boy. Yeah, for me, I think it was when I first benched 225. That's when I was like, oh, grown man. Yeah, once my dad saw me lift 225 10 times, he was like, "Oh, I guess I just pay the bills here." Mm-mm-mm-mm. I mean, see, the thing about it is, when you raising a kid like me, You got to make sure you raise a kid like me right, because it could come back and haunt you, right? It could come back and haunt you. And really, if everyone just took a little bit extra time to, raise their kid and make sure their kid just wasn't being a dickhead out here, we'd be much better off. We'd be much better off, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? Remember when the face started off looking like this? Like, this was the face I originally started with. Well, and somebody was telling me the other day, I think somebody mentioned this, that, they wanted me to start getting into public speaking. And I thought, for sure, one of the first demographic should have been, kids. But then I was just like, everybody got a motherfucking opinion now. Oh, I don't want my kid to learn this. I don't want my kid to learn that. A decent human being? Yeah, but I literally think the definition of decent human being literally differs. It literally differs. We can't get two people to agree that the sky is blue. Nasty ass Elon wanted to go to that island. Crazy. Pause. Oh wow! I just saw your post. Bad Bunny's wearing that hat that kid was wearing. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, yo, what up, Daniel? And it's kind of great because Trump already said he's not coming, so it's just so one less thing for one less distraction. The game is already gonna be boring. Two boring ass teams in a year where Mahomes and Jalen weren't gonna be in. I was expecting a little bit more excitement. It's a repeat of. It's just two teams that were interesting, but not interesting for the same reason because there's no beast mode to run the ball. If you were on the goal line this year, if you're on the goal line, I don't care what the stat says, and you have a dude named Marshawn Lynch on your team. Man, shit. I don't even want to go nowhere because, like, I'm just like in Chicago, we supposed to be playing. So, I feel like, that I feel like at least you on the same coast as is two coastal teams. Nobody wants to be caught being a Patriots fan. At least I don't think so. What I'm gonna do? Go out to a Chicago bar and expect people to be happy? People gonna be wearing fucking Bears shit. Like, it should have been us. It should have been us. And then I heard they putting Caleb on the. They putting Caleb on the. On the. on the Madden cover. So we're already cooked for next year. Oh, that's impressive. Uh, rock steady. Rock steady. Rock steady. Battle tested. Battle tested. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm trying to hold it back. I'm trying to hold it back. Back. I'm trying to hold it back. Back. What's that mean? Is a party in the back? What's that mean? Is a party in the back? Get low, get low. Get low, get low. Maybe we'll do a little bit of coding here, because we got 10 more minutes. I'm definitely not tired. Maybe we could try and get the... I'm definitely not tired. Maybe we could try and get the demo, but the beta version of the perfect lurker up and running. There's some things we gotta do with the code. The perfect lurker up and running. There's some things we gotta do with the code. Fuck the bottom cause I belong at the top. Fuck the bottom cause I belong at the top. That's cool. What's the goal here? Try and shut me. Try and shut me. Try and shut me down. Try and shut me. Shut me down. Try and stop me. Try and stop me now. Try and stop me. Turn it back. Now. Turn it back. Gotta work tomorrow? Hey, I respect it. Thanks for spending some time with your boy. Gotta work tomorrow? Hey, I respect it. Thanks for spending some time with your boy. Pleasure all mine. You know, I like to be a man of my word. When Yak, you talking shit to me on Monday, I need you to defend me. When Yak, you talking shit to me on Monday, I need you to defend me. When Yak, you talking shit to me on Monday.
Unbelievable nap. Oh, I just had an unbelievable nap.
Yo, double audio. Yo, double audio. There we go. Should be fixed.
I couldn't even speak on it. It was just.
Should be fixed.
It was a good one. It was a good one. Also, by the way, the next two videos I do will likely be some of my either most disturbing videos, like just jarring, like the process, or they'll be liked by only a few people. But either way, I just wanted to talk about it at least a little bit, because one of the concepts was just the fact that civilization as a whole was designed to replace humanity. We're gonna cover the whole idea, and it's gonna sound insane. I'm gonna just take you through the whole line of thought. The second thing is that I want to talk about Revelations, because in that section earlier last year when we were decoding the Bible, there is a part that I wanted to do on Revelations, but I had more and more insight developing, so we just had to, you know what I'm saying, we just have to keep studying and keep pushing through. This is a good community.
Malice, thinking about violence. I'm thinking about violence. It's all about the malice. glasses need to be darker. Hey, yo. Malice. Talking about violence. I'm insane. Yeah, it did. You can keep that. Malice. Malice. Let's try and knock this one out, and then we'll only have shit. We did make a ton. What the hell is the boring game here? got a busy week, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream Monday and Wednesday because I have busy work stuff. But I'll try and keep you guys updated. I think I'm at least gonna be here on Wednesday. I really don't want to go in at all. Try and get my hair done. But it's been real. Good time. Good 2 hours in. Decent work done. Overall, an aesthetic. Happy to call it a night, to be honest. But I'll catch you guys. Much love.